Hi, it's Katie from Elevated Aura, and this is part 2 of the Penumbral Lunar Eclipse in Libra horoscope. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the role of narcissism, essentially, in this lunar eclipse, because once this was kind of brought up by Heather Ensworth, I kind of did some digging into the archetypes of Aries and Libra, and I really started thinking about the planets, and I just kind of sat with it. And if you've ever been stuck in a contact nap and you're nap trapped, you know you have tons of time to think. But I was thinking about how the North Node is where we are collectively supposed to be moving in that direction, and the North Node is in Aries. The South Node is in Libra, and that's what we're supposed to collectively moving away from. So I started thinking about it. Aries is ruled by Mars. It's this masculine energy. It's the ruler of the first house of self, whereas Libra is a feminine energy ruled by Venus. It's the natural ruler of the seventh house, which is all about partnership. Aries has this reputation of being very selfish, being a muckraker, going into the dark, into the unknown, and just forging this whole new path. Whereas Libra is seen as balance. Literally, the symbol of Libra is the scales of justice. It's balance. There are a lot of politicians who have a lot of Libra in their charts, and so I started thinking about it, and I can see how with Pluto moving out of Capricorn, this top down, do what I say kind of structure, this corporate structure, this government structure of things being told from the top down to the masses, it's all shifting. That's Capricorn energy, and Pluto is really this energy of death and rebirth. It's this transformation that says, I'm going to shine a light on everything that's working in the shadows, everything that is not at its most empowered state, because I want the best. I want this clean energy. And we've had Pluto in Capricorn for quite some time, and you can really see, especially over the last few years, as Pluto has really begun to transit the last part of Capricorn and has started moving into Aquarius, which is all about community and putting the needs of the whole before the needs of one. I can really see how Pluto is asking us, as Pluto moves into Aquarius, to really think about each other differently. And the nodes being on the Aries Libra axis is really asking us to stop, trying to appease people, or stop trying to come up with diplomatic solutions when there's somebody who's clearly being difficult, somebody who's clearly being an asshole, somebody who's clearly being a narcissist and is being selfish and is not thinking about what someone else needs. We are collectively being asked to move away from, I think, trying to create this sense of balance. We're trying to move away from this idea that everyone played some part, sometimes, in the destruction of things. No, that's not true. If you look at it, on an individual level, sometimes there are people in our lives that need to be called out on their bad behavior. And that's really what the South Node in Libra is saying. Stop trying to play this diplomatic peacemaker role and have the guts to do the brave thing, the different thing, and call people out. Not just people, in your life who are, members of your family, but it's calling out people or putting boundaries in place where it's really, really, really difficult to do. And it's something that we're being asked to do collectively. So what this means is, instead of, let's say you have a garden, right? You're growing your own vegetables, you're growing your own produce, and you have so much that you can't use it all. Instead of throwing that away or thinking about yourself, like, well, I grew it, nobody else grew it, nobody else put this time and effort into growing my garden or planting the seeds, whatever, this energy, this Aquarian energy, this community energy, is asking us to use this power of Aries to think differently, to go against tradition, to go against the grain, to try something new, to go in the dark and say, you know what? I know that the food banks right now are really struggling. I'm going to donate my extra produce to the food banks. That is not something that a narcissist would do, because a narcissist would be so irritated that they had spent the money and the time growing the produce and putting all of the energy in whatever, and they would either want to sell it to get a profit from it, or they would want to put their face on it so that everybody knew that it came from them. That's not the path forward, really. So I can see that we're really being asked to form partnerships and to really start thinking about each other, to really start thinking about, you know, not only do I not want my child to grow up in a war zone, I don't want any child to grow up in a war zone. It's thinking about how somebody across the world is struggling with X, Y, and Z problem, and maybe we have the solution. There's maybe no water in this area of the world, but there's water here. What can we do to build bridges? What can we do to work together? And this, I don't think, is just about humans relating to other humans. Truthfully, I think it's setting us up for the complexity to maybe come of how do we collectively work together with one another to protect and save our planet? How do we collectively work with one another to save and protect the animals on this planet? How do we collectively work with one another to protect the galaxy? Because truthfully, what if? I can't even say what if, because I actually do believe that there is life on other planets. I don't think that we're the only thing to exist in this entire universe. So how are we going to collectively work with people that don't look like us, people that think differently than us, people that are more advanced than us, galactically? So it's a lot to think about, but truthfully, I think it's setting us up to really build and to bring to fruition this new earth where we are consciously aware of our energy, and we are consciously aware of how our energetic exchanges with other people impact us and other people and our planet. What I mean by that is we are moving to a world where we are aware that other people are struggling with things that we don't know about. We are aware that there are people struggling with health issues, mental health issues, with financial issues, with processing trauma. People are struggling with housing. People are struggling with a whole slew of different things. And it's really the universal energy now asking us, can you get over some of these phantom blocks between you in order to work together? Can you put aside your egos to recognize the humanness? But even more important than that, can you recognize the value of life in things that don't look like you? Can you recognize the value of life in a tree? Can you recognize the value of life in water? It's really interesting, and it's so fun. If you want a more personalized reading or forecast, I have a whole bunch of different offerings on the Elevated Aura website. I have some one-on-one availability. I also have some PDFs I can send you if you're not really ready to invest in that one-on-one reading. If you guys have any questions, or if you want to talk more about narcissism and how it relates to astrology, especially when it comes to this lunar eclipse, let me know in the comments below, and I'd be happy to do that. Until next time, adios.